Here are 50 interesting facts about the human brain. The human brain weighs approximately 3 pounds. The brain is the most complex organ in the human body. The brain is composed of about 100 billion neurons. The brain is responsible for controlling and coordinating all bodily functions. The brain is protected by the skull. The brain uses 20% of the body's oxygen and 25% of its glucose. The brain is divided into two hemispheres, the left and the right. The left hemisphere of the brain is responsible for logic and reasoning. The right hemisphere of the brain is responsible for creativity and imagination. The brain communicates with the rest of the body through the nervous system. The brain is capable of producing new neurons through a process called neurogenesis. The brain is capable of rewiring itself in response to new experiences, a process known as neuroplasticity. The brain is responsible for the experience of emotions. The brain is capable of producing and interpreting language. The brain is capable of forming memories and recalling them. The brain produces several hormones, including dopamine and serotonin. The brain is responsible for the regulation of the body's circadian rhythm. The brain is responsible for regulating the body's temperature. The brain is responsible for the regulation of the body's thirst and hunger. The brain is responsible for the regulation of the body's breathing and heartbeat. The brain is responsible for the regulation of the body's balance and coordination. The brain is responsible for the regulation of the body's reflexes. The brain is responsible for the regulation of the body's sleep and wake cycles. The brain is capable of multitasking. The brain processes information at a speed of about 120 meters per second. The brain produces and responds to electrical signals. The brain contains several different regions that are responsible for different functions. The frontal lobe of the brain is responsible for decision-making and problem-solving. The parietal lobe of the brain is responsible for processing sensory information. The occipital lobe of the brain is responsible for processing visual information. The temporal lobe of the brain is responsible for processing auditory information and language comprehension. The cerebellum of the brain is responsible for coordination and balance. The limbic system of the brain is responsible for emotions and memory formation. The brain can be affected by several different disorders, including Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and multiple sclerosis. The brain can be damaged by trauma, such as a concussion. The brain can be affected by drugs and alcohol. The brain can be affected by sleep deprivation. The brain can be affected by stress. The brain can be affected by certain foods, such as those containing omega-3 fatty acids. The brain can be affected by physical exercise. The brain can be affected by meditation and mindfulness practices. The brain can be affected by social interactions. The brain can be affected by music. The brain can be affected by art. The brain can be affected by aromatherapy. The brain can be affected by light therapy. The brain can be affected by cognitive behavioral therapy. The brain can be affected by electroconvulsive therapy. The brain can be studied through a variety of techniques, including magnetic resonance imaging, MRI, and electroencephalography, EEG. The brain remains a mystery in many ways. Please like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thanks for watching.